Hey everyone! Unfortunately we lost the recording for episode 14, but don't worry, you're not missing much. The Ashen Hearts have just arrived on Solarion Isle, and you're ready to see the rest of their adventure. Hi everyone, and welcome back to the next episode of Tales of Edeah. I hope you guys are excited, because I am. Now, I didn't actually get to say hi to all of you yet. Is everyone doing good today? Feeling good? Excited? Alright, then we can have a TPK. That's awesome. Sorry, Freudian slip. You know how it is. Alright, so then we'll dive right in. Solarion Isle, March 17th, year 51 of the new era. The Ashen Hearts set out only a few hours ago by boat to an island some 20 miles off the coast of Postizia. Named Solarion Isle, it is the last known location of one Patrick Sordenbrand, an adventurous man who should not have travelled there, and whose wife now anxiously awaits only word of his death. The Ashen Hearts arrived there early in the afternoon, leaving behind the icy cold winds and snow of Postizia for a strange change in climate. A mild breeze rolls across the island, and distantly overhead a sunny sky can be seen. It seems early spring, as far as you can tell. But their attention is drawn to the more disturbing aspects of the island. They've just fought a statue that came to life, made of a kind of unlight or void light, which seemed to be able to absorb a tremendous amount of magic and attacks from them. More than that, they have also discovered that dangerous creatures live here, that seem to feed on magic, making their most powerful abilities also an incredible risk. Now the fighting has ended, and the mist is closing in around you, forming a circle perhaps only some 80-odd feet in diameter. But as you catch your breath and tend to your wounds, keeping a wary eye out to the side, the mist comes to a halt, leaving you encircled for the time being, but under no immediate threat of entering that strange, otherworldly mist here. Now, before we do anything, what are you guys up to? What are the Ashen Hearts doing?
When we finished the session, we were actually waking Myra up.
Yeah?
I had just apologized to her for...
Yes, you had.
Basically leave her standing there.
Yeah. So yeah, Myra, you come to, and you hear this apology. Is there anything you'd like to say back to Turnok, as he did sort of also breathe on you at the same time? Perhaps not intentionally, but it did happen.
No, I don't say anything. I just take my holy symbol and mutter some words under my breath and cast Cure Wounds at level 3 on myself.
Okay.
And as she's doing that, I'm trying to pick her up, put her on her feet, see if it's all okay. Just recollecting before we proceed.
Okay. Well, I will say that... Oh, go ahead. No, you go.
He moved just a few, not a few feet for him because he's super far away, but then approaches the group and moves towards the base of the statue to see if there's any form of anything inscribed on it as to identify the person that was commemorized here.
Okay.
In the statue.
You go to inspect.
My token in the map, sorry.
No, you're right. Maybe it was accidentally deleted last week.
Accidentally.
Well, I didn't do it. Alright. So, Jean-Jacques goes to inspect the statue. And what I was going to add previously for Myra, you were frozen, and it was quite a horrible cold feeling, but the strange climate that you're experiencing here is actually helping you warm up a bit more than you would have expected, If this had happened in the climate that you guys have in Postizia and in the world at large right now, this would have probably been a lot worse for you right this very minute. But thankfully, the strange magic of this place is keeping you a little warmer. Jean-Jacques comes past, goes to inspect the base of the statue, and you do not find any other inscriptions outside of the word or the bloodied scribbles that line the entire place, but you do see where probably a plaque has been broken off. Presumably, as you know, these types of statues, not well, but you can imagine that it was probably a metal plaque and probably one made of gold. So you suspect that it might have been looted at some point, especially one this close to the water's edge. If it wasn't always a void creature, then it's quite likely that someone found it beforehand and simply ripped away the valuable part. So, anything else you guys are doing right this very minute? As I will say, by the way, as you are at the statue's base, the mist is only about 20 feet away from you. The edge of the mist.
I just turn to them as I see that Myra is doing all right, at least for now. And I just turn to them and I say, stay within the limits of the mist, don't get into it, and we need to check these bodies or that other tent over there to see if, well, any of these unfortunate people are Mr. Patrick. So, but stay close and eyes on your surroundings. And as I do that, I just go investigating the body, see any remainders, anything that may help me identify if one of these dead bodies is actually the men we're looking for.
Okay. Go ahead and make an investigation check.
I'll also join in. So
All
I
right.
can help.
All right.
Advantage then?
Well, it depends on if Jean-Jacques wants to
Yeah,
make his
I'm
own
helping.
or...
I'm
Okay.
helping. No, I'm helping.
All right.
A solid 12.
So, as you start to look around, all of the corpses, at least, they're not really corpses anymore, for the most part. They're just piles of decayed bones. But none of them strike you as being particularly recent. Even by the strange standards of this island, you can't imagine that any of these have recently died here. Some of the bones, in fact, when you try to pick them up or uncover them better, they're so brittle that they just break apart. The more recent corpse, if you approach the skeleton that lies in the pool nearby, you do spot on that one a decaying robe, a black decaying robe that is sort of partially draped over part of the skeleton, and also soaked in blood, which you presume it belonged to the person that died here. That one looks more recent, and you would suspect might have belonged to the expedition from Mr. Sordenbrand, but if it did, then it has certainly decayed much more than you would expect it, even in the 3 weeks that it was exposed here to the elements.
So, I grab the ropes, and I'll keep the ropes with me for a while, because I want to see, actually, my purpose is to see if everything is decaying faster. So, if this, if the belongings of the dead people are also decaying faster.
Okay.
And I also report back to them that, there's something weird in this island.
All right.
I don't believe that these people died that long ago for them to be like this. It would need too many years of exposure to this for them to be like that, and I don't think that that's the case. So keep an eye out for yourselves as well. If you start feeling weird, say something.
Okay. As Turnock comes back with this information and warning, I would like everyone to make a perception check. Okay, 10. Jean-Jacques? 6.
22.
22.
23.
23. 9. Okay. So, actually kind of appropriate, but Barnack, Turnock, and Jean-Jacques are more involved in the conversation than necessarily in looking around at that right particular moment. And Tani and Myra, warier than the others, you look around and you think that you spot a figure in the mist to the northeast of you. A short figure kind of on a little ledge, pressed against a tree, looking out from behind it, a face. The moment that either of you looks in that direction, it disappears behind the tree as if hiding. You have a hard time guesstimating how tall it is, and it is definitely standing in the mist. But it seems that someone or something is observing you.
It appears to be an actual thing, not made from mist.
It does not seem to be mist coalesced into a shape, which, as you look around now, you do get the uncomfortable sensation that other parts of the mist have strange, familiar shapes. They do briefly look like figures walking around in the mist, but then they just fade into the formless, shapeless nothingness that the mist usually is. But this is something solid. You definitely saw the color of human-like skin, and the movements were definitely far more real than anything that you're seeing in the mist, which is all the sort of ethereal, slow, ghostly apparition.
How far away is the mist right now?
Well, like I said, it's about an 80 feet diameter, so you have a bit more. I think Turnock probably got closest inspecting the corpse here, so you probably did it from a short distance. But yeah, you guys have it like pretty close. It's getting kind of to be right around you now.
And is there any wind at all?
There is a slight breeze that you feel, but it does not seem to be disturbing the mist, or in fact, it does not seem to be interacting with it at all.
So I will use my ability, Heart of the Storm, Storm Guide, sorry. And I will try to force the wind to interact with the mist. So I'll start blowing it in a circular 100-foot sphere around myself, so kind of like going in a loop around us.
Okay. It unsettles you to see the distinct lack of interaction that follows. In fact, the mist and the strange movements that Tani and Myra already started seeing, you begin to notice as well, the figures that emerge and then dissipate, and even the shapes of what seem to be almost like buildings, and then it's like visions in the mist. They move contrary to the direction that you swirl the wind in, almost deliberately so, as if it's making a point that it's not affected by what you're doing.
At this point, I'm still really entertained with the dead bodies and trying to uncover the entire thing and why these things are the way they are.
Yeah.
And after Jean-Jacques tries that, I'll let the team know, like, guys, I saw something, but it wasn't part of the mist. And I'll point and describe how it... Yeah, describe what you described.
All right.
At this point, I stand up and I have my sword in hands.
Okay.
Could it be Mr. Swordenbrand? Yeah, it didn't look like it was part of the mist. Maybe there's someone here? And it didn't seem dangerous. He hid. Or it hid. They hid.
Where did you see them?
I'll also point at the spot.
So I can see that it's a ledge, right, Kevin?
Mm-hmm. Yes, it is your favorite terrain.
I couldn't hear you, Kev, but I...
Yeah. Okay. Guess someone's trying to succeed me. Only I am the Ledge King.
By the way, quick question, Tani. When you pointed out that this person was there, did you lower your voice to just speak to the group, or did you just say it out loud?
Yeah, I would have lowered my voice a bit.
Okay.
Can we see the person or the thing or the silhouette?
No. Now that
No, okay.
Tani points in the direction, and Myra, you can definitely back Tani up if you wish. You saw the same thing, but when anyone looks now, there's nothing there. It was a small figure hiding behind one of the very large dead trees that are gathered here.
Well, do you guys want to continue to press on and to try to find our quarry, or should we actually expose ourselves and say, hello, we're here? If we're going
Is it
to
that you always
stealthily-
want to expose yourself, Barnack? First in
I
the streets
think-
of Pastitia, now
No,
here.
that's not me. That's Core and Tani, by the way. They did that to me. I didn't do that to myself. Second of all, I mean, if we're going to go stealthily, I can, again, make us much more
We're
stealthy.
We're pinned, Barnack. Whatever's here knows we're here, and we won't be able to get out of this. We cannot even see the beach anymore.
That's
And if you don't want me to do this, please stop me. But I stand up and I pump my chest, and I say, and I'm going to say that out loud for whoever's. I'm sorry we caused a disturbance here, but we were attacked. We were looking for a man of name Mr. Patrick Sordenbrand. We don't intend to stay on this island for too much long. We just want to find him and give his wife, if, well, he's not in the best condition, give his wife some peace, otherwise bring him home safely. We don't mean no harm, and we don't want to cause any more harm to your land in this island. We just want to go away with the man that we are looking for.
Roll a persuasion check.
Yes! First time I'm going to use the thingy properly, the elegant courtier. I think
Very
I have
true.
advantage on... No, okay. Yeah. 22.
Okay. So, wait, isn't that more then? Or is that? Oh, that's already with your mods. Okay. As you call out, there's a momentary silence as you just watch the mist swirl in the direction that you called out to. But then a quiet, small voice. Not childlike in any way, just to clarify, but just a small voice of someone who is frightened in some way. Calls back and says, I don't know where Patrick is. He shouldn't be here. It's not safe. You get the impression it's a female voice.
Are you unsafe, or are you alright?
I'm scared.
I understand. Are you scared of us? Because if so, I promise to not cause you any harm.
A face peeks out from behind the tree again, still standing, completely enveloped in the mist. And it definitely has a certain, or the air, the mist itself definitely has a certain attraction to this person, and it seems to kind of cling more to them as they stand in the mist. And they look out. Do you promise?
Yes, of course. I have no reason to cause you any harm.
She looks over her shoulder, frightened at something, and then slowly climbs down towards you, and you see a female dwarf. And I would say probably Barnack is the best one to make this judgment, but Barnack, you suspect that she's young, more or less in your age range. Perhaps a little bit older, but you're not sure. She comes forward and she steps beyond the boundary of the mist, and you see that it kind of clings to her. And for a second, each of you has the impression that these are arms and hands that are trying to clasp onto her and hold her back. But she walks forward, not looking at them, and as soon as she moves through the grasping hands, they dissipate into puffs of little bit of mist twirling away. And for only that moment you're sure of what you saw, but right after you already begin to doubt whether it was just a vision in your mind or whether it actually happened. But she steps forward and she comes closer and she looks at each of you, apprehensive, and you can see she has very thick black lines under her eyes, and she looks tired, exhausted, ragged. She's been on this island for a while, and she's not been doing so well, clearly. She looks very paranoid.
I give like 2 steps forward, at most, towards her.
Mm-hmm.
And I introduce myself in Dwarvish. I basically just say my name is Turnok.
Okay.
Nice to meet you, and I'm sorry if we spooked you.
Her eyes grow a little wider. And in fact, you speaking Dwarvish, her first response is to take 1 step, like slightly back, before she stops herself. You do notice that she is equipped with a bow, and also has a pack, and 2 like smaller hand axes at her sides. She is quite well equipped, and probably explains why she is still alive on this island. But as she looks up at you, she answers hesitantly in Dwarvish, and she says, well, my name is Svala. That's Svala. And why are you here? And those of you who don't speak Dwarvish, by the way, don't understand this conversation.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to switch back to common, actually, and I'll say we are the Ashen Hearts. These are my friends here, and we are freelancers, most of us. And we were in charge. We received a mission to come here and look for one Mr. Patrick Sordenbrand, as I mentioned. And we need to locate him. But we have no intentions of staying here more than we need.
She keeps looking over her shoulder, and especially as you mention this about having to find Patrick, she hesitates before she takes a step closer to you. But she makes sure to raise her voice so that the others can hear as well. She says, the master's gone deeper down to the island. He was trying to get to the tower. I don't think you're going to find him. I think you'll end up mad like him, and like the others. I've barely survived myself. And she kind of twitches awkwardly, and she looks off to about the right side at something that you cannot see. Like, she literally stares at the point in midair that you can't, there's just nothing there. And then she looks back at you. And you can see that she's frowning and focusing, as if trying to put something out of her mind, and really, some distraction is causing her to have trouble focusing on this conversation.
We are really determined to get this done. His wife, Mrs. Elena, she has been really kind to us and has helped us in several occasions. And this is, at least for me at this point, a little bit more than a job. And I would really like to get to the bottom of this. I would never, ever ask you to proceed deeper into the island once again. But if you may, would you please just warn us about what's expecting us deeper?
I don't know how to explain it, but you have to avoid the mist somehow.
And I turn around, I look around, I see the mist all over us, and I say, how did you do it?
failed. We all failed. But there's a path that you can take, and it won't bring you closer to the tower, but there's a spirit there that promises to help you find your way. But she's cursed. I don't know. I refused to go when they said that they would go that way. We'd already lost too many. I said I'd try to watch the base camp from the ship, but the captain was dead and the crew was missing. So I just hid here. I was hoping they'd come back, but no one's come back. It's been 3 days, I think.
3 days. It looks like you've been here for ages now.
It's just a really bad place to be. But no, we arrived. She looks up at the sky. I think I've counted 6 nights here so far.
And we know it to be 3 weeks, right?
At least, yes.
Okay.
What is this bad spirit like?
And this is Barnack's Stoneheart, by the way.
She
Aye.
looks over at Barnack, and there's definitely a small moment of relief just to see someone who is a bit more like her, who speaks a
Also
bit more like her.
I also show a bow and a hand axe.
Okay. She just nods and instinctively just puts a hand on one of the hand axes at her side. I don't know. I didn't go. But there's lots of spirits that are trapped here on the island, and most of them don't want you to be here. Shh. Oh. You just
Shush?
yeah. She shushes. Something.
No, I ask her.
Okay.
Shush?
Well, no, don't mind that. Just be careful about the mist, and I think you have to see the lady, the spirit. I mean, if you want to go after Patrick, but it's really dangerous. I don't.
And she's cursed.
I think this whole island is cursed.
Seemed that way.
And be careful with the. You were fighting these things, but there's many more of those than you know. They'll eat the magic right out of you. Killed our wizard on the first day.
Hey, Patrick, Jack, you hear that? And then I remember, right as I say that, I remember, like, yeah.
Yeah, I heard it. Ms. Fala, Jean-Jacques Dupois, you mentioned that Lord Sordenbrand had gone mad. Why would you... Well, what leads you to believe that he was mad?
She hesitates. And you can see that... I think everyone can easily see that she is reluctant to give this answer, for whatever reason might be. And she might need an additional prod as she hesitates.
I'll just say, I realize this must be hard for you, talking about it after what you've gone through, but I assure you we've got only the best intentions, and we want to get as many people out of here safe and sound as we can.
Trust us, lassie.
Okay. Roll a persuasion check. Either Barnack or Jean-Jacques, but with advantage. Whoever does it.
I'll let...
You did.
Okay, well, it's a single roll for me, because I'm exhausted.
It's better than my persuasion.
11.
Okay. It's just that... Just trust me, he was not doing well. None of us were. It's not like I'm... It's not like I'm not suffering from being here. it's just not a good place to be. We tried so many times to get to the tower. It's always there. You can always see it, but you never get closer. We couldn't find the path, and every time we tried, we touched more of the mist, and some people, and you can just see she kind of seizes up from thinking about it. Trying to say words, but none of it makes any sense. She just mutters to herself for a second, and then
seeing that
again, she goes,
Shh. I'll try to distract her, and I'll say, I understand, miss. Have you heard Lord Sordenbrand speak as to why he was so interested in this tower? On your way here, or in any of the days that you spend here, did he elaborate as to why he undertook this mission?
He recruited us on short notice, promised very good pay. 800 guilders, he said, for a week's worth of work. That's more than I've ever dreamt of. But he wouldn't say anything about why, just that we had to get here and make our way to the tower, and we'd be heroes for turning off that light and saving ships. But then, on about the third or fourth day, he changed. It's like he woke up from a dream. And we spent the day in camp here. He spoke to a lot of them, of the others, people with more knowledge about this place. And they decided to try again anyway, but then he said, I remember he said to us that it wasn't required that we stay. We'd get paid regardless, but that he thought that now that he was here, he had a duty to go to stop something from happening at the tower. That's why he decided to go to the lady. And he said those of us who didn't want to go didn't have to. So me and a few others, and she looks around, we stayed, but that's only me left now.
So you didn't interact with the lady herself?
No, I don't want to talk to no spirits. That's not my business. There's no amount of coin in the world to bring me there.
No, I do understand.
Oh,
So I'm sorry. Go ahead, Bartek.
no, I was just about to ask whether you know anything about the lady, but I guess not.
She just shakes her head.
Okay.
Slava, are you able to remain safe here? And well, I'm not saying that you have.
Wait, did you
that
just
you have
survive?
much?
She interrupts, like very rudely probably, but she interrupts. Did you just? Do you have a boat? Can I leave? Please.
Yeah, the thing about you leaving right now is that you leave us without a way to go away then. But we are about to go off anyway, and if you're not going to even need to have to look for it, our boat is right there, and I just point to the rowboat because, well, eventually.
Right.
And I say, well, it's your choice. We can actually do anything to stop you from getting that rowboat and rowing out of here. But I would really be nice of you if you waited for us to return, so we could all get out of here safely.
Okay, well, roll a persuasion check. And additionally, as you've said this just now, she immediately does respond with, well, I can point you forward. I know the paths. The thing is, it doesn't look like the paths are ever the same. It's more that you need to walk with intent towards the destination. But if you just wander and you don't know where you're going, then you never end up anywhere except back where you started. But it's a very dangerous road to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
But what did you roll for?
I'm rolling again, inspiration. I have one left now.
That's fair.
19.
Okay. But look, I think knowing about the lady will give you enough room to try and find her. And I can watch over your rowboat, but you have to promise to come back soon. Because if those things come again, or if the mist comes and wraps me up again, I don't know if I can stay.
I understand. And the rowboat would be nice, but we still would have other means to get out of this island. Even if it takes more effort. So if it really comes to it and you really need to go, our ship is not that further. If you are able to get outside of the mist with the rowboat, you should be able to see it. So yeah, head there and said that the Ashen Hearts directed you here, that you should be fine.
Okay. As you talk about this, and you see her look towards the ocean, where the ocean should be, and you look yourself, you all suddenly become aware that the mist has retreated to a good 300 feet distance. You can see it amongst the trees on the island. You can see that it's like kind of parting where it meets the ocean, because it doesn't seem to want to cross over the ocean itself. So it just kind of falls to the sides and then towards the arms of the bay that you guys are in. So it's now only a half circle, and it's much wider than it was previously.
Can we see the ship?
Yeah, because it doesn't extend across the water, so you do see the faint outline of your ship bobbing offshore.
We think we're safe here for 10 minutes. Because if she doesn't want to stay, I can give her water walk and we'll still have our rowboat for emergencies.
I think we are, but Svala, I have a question. You said that the mist already enveloped you once. Or rather, you said before the mist envelops me again. What happens when that happens?
You see what little colour she had in her face just drain away. I can't explain that. It's like someone's inside my head. And it's very angry. And it hurts you. And it does things to you. Two men, I didn't know them, but they were with us, and they just started fighting. For no reason. And we couldn't break them apart.
Let's stray away from this path of conversation. I mean, let's not talk about this. I have just one more question though. You mentioned we need to walk with intent throughout the mist so we're able to get somewhere. Should we walk with intent? And I do understand what you're saying, and I know that is hard to explain. But should we walk like that, and should we pursue the lady or the tower?
I don't think it works for the tower, otherwise we would have found it already.
Okay.
I think the tower is... Anytime we tried to go for the tower, we'd run into banks of mist. I mean, they were as thick as water. We tried to cross them the first day, and it cost us 3 people. They walked in and they just never came out again.
And where's that path that you mentioned that we could take?
She just turns around and points beyond the statue base, and just says, "Just walk in that direction." And
Okay. Um. Okay. So I just turn to Myra and I say, "Is Myra already working on the water walking spell? Is that happening?"
I can be. No one gave me a definite yes to give it to her.
yeah.
No, I think it's better. It's better.
Okay. So I'll start working on the water walk.
Okay.
I'll just give it
Yeah.
to everyone again. 'cause,
Okay.
yeah.
And I just explained to her while Chance is concentrated, while Myra is concentrated on the spell, what you need to do, what are the effects of the spell, just
Okay.
the whole powerful and understanding of magic and wizardry Turnock.
Okay. Yeah. So while this is happening, if nobody engages with Svala further, she kind of just stands there a bit off to the side, and after about a minute or so, you see her distinctly ignoring something that seemed like, in her perception, is standing right beside her. So she looks to the side, just like hisses, shushes, tries to tell it to move off and fuck off and things like that. Over the course of the remaining 9 or so minutes.
And when I see that happening, I go to Barnack and I just turn to him and quietly, almost whispering, "I think you have the best odds of finding out what the fuck is going on with her. You should go there and ask. She's talking to someone. Or something."
I don't see anything.
Yes, that's the problem, Barnack.
Yeah. I'll ask her a question or two. Svala,
Yeah?
I'm sorry.
where are
Girl.
you from?
Sorry, what did you say, Minosh?
Where are you from?
I was born in Middleburg. Why?
Middleburg.
You?
I'm just
Um,
curious. No, I'm from Watchhold. Just curious. I don't see a lot of dwarves out and about anywhere, honestly. Are
Really?
you okay?
Um,
I saw you. I saw you don't like using our language.
It's not that, it's just the other one's more familiar.
That's fine. That's okay. Yeah, I understand not knowing some languages. I also do not speak some
I
languages.
know my language is fine. I just...
Yeah, normal language. Yeah, and I seem to have seen 3 times now that you are making a shush sound.
I didn't. No. What are you talking
did.
about?
You did. I've seen it. Come on, Svala.
What do you
I've
mean?
seen it. Us archers can see things clearly. And I know
What
that
are you
know
talking
this.
about?
You made a sh sound to something.
No, I didn't. No. What?
Yeah, you did.
Why would I do that?
I interfere. I
Barnack's the
step in.
worst person to talk to somebody
Yeah.
that has PTSD. It's
Yeah.
just like, yeah,
Fucking
yeah, you
Christ.
did.
I was like, yeah. I step in and I say, "Svala, I'm sorry about the approach that our colleague here just had," and I just pat Barnack on the back a little bit, and I say, "What he meant with that is, we've been noticing that you're disturbed with something other than what you have already explained to us. That's what I mean, because it looks like, apparently, that there's someone or something trying to communicate with you. And that worries us a little bit because you're our only source of information. And we don't know how that thing's affecting you, so Would you please elaborate on that?
There's nothing. There's nothing communicating with me. It's just
So
you.
if I pass my hand right next to you, to your right, nothing will happen.
No.
Well, then I can just shoot an arrow, Tarnok, just next to her. Don't worry, I am very, very accurate with my arrows.
We don't want to disturb that woman anymore, Barnack.
Nicola, you were muted as well.
No, just chanting roll R1, roll R1.
Accidentally impales the stranger that they're trying to save.
Just through the eye.
I get closer, Chilsvala, and I know how patronizing this gesture can be, but I almost kneel as to look her in the eye.
Okay.
And I say, ma'am, we're giving you a way to leave this island and to put ourselves in pretty great danger.
Well, I didn't ask you to do that, and I really appreciate the way off.
Please.
But
So please, I'm just asking you to be honest with us. We can see that you're lying. Please.
I'm not lying. I'm just keeping truth from fiction. That's all. Don't. There is nothing. Shh. There.
There it is! You just did it!
Yeah, Svala.
Wait, I understand. You said you're keeping fiction from the truth. No, the truth from the fiction. So whatever you're shushing is not. You don't want to believe it. You want
But
to
it
make
is happening.
If I
fiction.
was shushing something, then it wouldn't be real, because it's just a figment of my imagination, thanks to the mist. But I'm not doing anything, so I don't need to worry about that. And she just kind of says that, staring between the two of you.
That is.
Will I need to ask Myra to stop the enchantment for the moment? Because we need to know, Svala. We need to know. If it's whether it's true or it's fiction, it's happening with you right now, and it is our concern.
I don't understand what you mean. Why? I told you everything I know that could possibly help you, and I warned you not to go, and now you're deciding to go on anyway, and somehow it's my fault for possibly not telling you more.
Possibly you're consciously withholding information that we're asking you, the people that are
I am not telling
actually...
you about lies that have no bearing on the situation. I'm protecting you from what this island does to you.
Wait.
Yeah, I just, I give a step back, I turn my back around, and I start getting ready to venture into the path. I'm not engaging in conversation with her anymore, and I'm going to the path.
Alright.
Just a second. Myra, do you possibly have that thing spell? Shit.
That's not a
Okay,
spell.
so when I was poisoned, I remember Core doing that, and I was not poisoned anymore. There was like a spell, like a light. Ooh, can you do that?
You mean like something like lesser restoration?
Yes, lesser restoration is exactly what I meant.
Well, it's not prepared.
It's not prepared for an island that's cursed. Myra, we'll have to talk about the pay here later.
Don't I get hazard pay from almost being murdered twice in the past 24 hours? 48 hours, something like that?
That's also true, and that's
Well,
why
if you read Section 23B of your contract, you'll actually see that hazard pay is not paid in the first week of your contract. So, in effect, you are not entitled to any subsequent or additional pay based on hazards encountered on your missions.
exactly what
Looks like
Jean
I'm
Jacques
just
Really read the freelancer
unprepared.
code.
All the spells that could do healing for arrogant wizards or sorcerers. Sorry.
That's
If
okay.
I may have a word with y'all in private, Svala, please, take some time to rest. I
Wait,
think
just a
we've
moment.
questioned you enough.
Just yeah. Okay, Svala, just wait for a moment, and also you have a pretty good bow, and you know how to use it.
I do.
Okay, that's interesting. I
Also, but before you move off, and she kind of looks in Turnok's direction, but then addresses you again and speaks quite loudly. And she says, "I really do appreciate everything you're doing here. I don't know if I would survive if you didn't show. So I really want the best for you. I can't say
We
that.
understand.
do 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 I believe her?
Make an insight roll.
I believe anything she says. It's in total that's 4.
Oh yeah. This woman could not possibly be more truthful.
Yep.
So
Um,
I don't want us to move away like a huge distance or
Yeah.
anything, but just so enough that if we were to speak in a lower
Yeah, it's
tone,
not a problem
stop.
because the moment you move, like you cut off the conversation with her directly, she just returns to what she was doing, which is muttering to the air and ignoring whatever is close to her.
So I approach them and I say, I definitely agree with y'all that we need all the information that we can get. But what I'm thinking is that the only reason why Swala has been able to fend off this madness that is induced by the mist is because she is actively denying it. So if we pursue this course of action, if we make her speak about it, we might break down this incredibly thin barrier that's standing between her and madness. And we're about to send her to the ship to a bunch of unwitting sailors. Well, not a bunch of unwitting sailors. There's only one person, right?
A captain and a crew member, I think.
Yeah. So, in my opinion, she is probably seeing spirits or some form of apparition that's been induced by this mist that is probably trying to persuade her to do something bad.
that yeah, I was thinking even I think more radically, JJ. I was thinking she came out of the mist. Coming out of the mist means that I mean she might be one of those spirits or something.
I
The
don't
only
believe
thing
that,
I
but
don't believe anything. I don't know.
I think we should just get ready to move. The longer we stay here, the worse. I agree with Jean-Jacques, and let her go. We're here to
Yeah.
do good, aren't we? That lady
I
needs our help, so
I can do good by her as well. I can protect her from evil and good.
do
Well, we
so.
might need that ourselves soon enough.
Yeah, we
Probably.
may.
Yeah, probably I can't do it that many times.
We are already protecting her to the best of our capabilities by sending her away. Perhaps
Oh,
the spirits or islands influence might have to do with distance to the tower to the mist, so it's already a good effort to just send her away.
Yeah.
Evan.
Mm-hmm.
Um, wait, what did I just lost my mind? And I forget what I was going to ask you. But to the rest of the group, I can send a message to the captain at least to let them know that someone's coming to them and they might be under some sort of control and might be hostile.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe we should at least steal her arrows. Or blunt
Yeah,
her
she
hand.
shouldn't. Yeah.
I mean, I could
Perhaps.
use her arrows.
Mhm. Yeah, I think you're right. Do we all agree with that approach? Unarm her before we move?
Yeah, I think that probably was.
Okay. So you just, are we done here?
Yeah,
Do you have
Yeah,
anything
will
else?
will
Or
I?
do you
that was
want
my question. Has it
Yeah.
been 10 minutes?
Yes, I will
Okay,
say
everyone has
that
water walk.
as this conversation comes to a close, Myra finally finishes the incantation, and indeed, all of you become blessed with water walking once again. Or still.
Yay!
So
Technically, mist is vapor, right? Which is consisted of water, so we could probably just walk on the mist, right? Okay, great.
You could always
We
try
broke
that.
the game. We broke the game.
I just turned to. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Mark.
I was going to ask. So how are we going to disarm her? Am I going to hold her down and you? Or no, you can hold her down and I'll just take
Or,
Yeah,
arrows.
or
we
you
can
could
just.
just
We could.
ask.
Yeah, we could just ask. I turn my back immediately, and I just say, "Svala."
As you turn, you can see that she's
Uh-huh.
standing ready, both hand axes about halfway out and in her hands, and in a very defensive posture.
Very defensive work.
Well,
Okay,
Hold me down?
Svala.
Steal from me?
No, we do not intend of stealing from you. We just want to talk to you about the worries we
They
have
told me what
regarding.
you were saying. He wants to steal from me. Who are you? Are you pirates?
No, we don't want to steal from you. We just want to send you back to the ship, but we do not want you to get on that ship with your weapons on you.
Why not? You think
Well,
I'm
because
dangerous?
you just told us that there are spirits communicating with you. So
No, there's no one communicating with me. But
yeah,
I
you said
heard
they told.
anyway that
okay, Barnack.
you were gonna take things away from me against my will.
No, we were going to request from you that you drop those things
I'm
willingly.
not going to now. I don't. And she just kind of stumbles back a little bit. But
So-
the exhaustion is definitely setting in, so she almost actually stumbles.
So let me just ask you. I'm sorry, Kevin.
No, I just said
So let me clarify this then. You said you were there was nothing and you were trying to discern truth from fiction, and now that it's information that's literally lying to you, whoever's communicating with you is lying because that's not the way we were going to approach this. You're deciding to trust them instead of us. Since we're just going to assure that the crewmates are safe.
Roll
Not because we don't
perception?
trust.
Sorry, not perception, persuasion. Barnag rolled deception in the background.
Okay. 16.
Just a moment. Deception is deception.
So a 16 persuasion and a 10 in deception.
10 deception.
Okay. And she stands there. You can see that you practically berating her. She begins to shake and she continues to hold on to the weapons, but like her muscles are tense, she's exhausted, and a few tears involuntarily begin rolling down her cheeks, and her voice grows even smaller. And she says, I don't know anymore, but please don't make me do anything I don't want to. Please. Just... And she, I will say she removes the bow and places it on the ground. She removes the quiver, places it next to the bow. And she removes one of the hand axes and places it as well. But the other one she takes, but rather than taking it into an aggressive posture, she just kind of clings it to herself. Please don't leave me defenseless. Not until I'm back in the city. Please.
I look at them, the rest of the group, and I say, I would be in the same way. I don't know what to say. I would make the same request.
I'll
I
let
mean,
the
she is far
captain
less
know.
dangerous. Go ahead, Jen,
Yeah.
sorry.
I can let the captain know that she's coming and has a hand axe with her.
To protect herself, yes.
Yeah, she means no harm, but you must understand us, and I believe you too, Svala, and why we're being cautious about this. It's not that we don't trust you, but we just met you, and you're in a pretty bad state, physically and mentally. We usually don't take that many chances with someone, and we are right now. I mean, you do you. I've told you that once before, and I'm telling you this again. This is your choice. We're just asking you in good faith that you do this for us. But if you don't want to remain defenseless, although there won't be that much to defend against, once you head out to the ship, you go with your hand axe on you. That's it.
She just kind of clutches it and takes a few deep breaths. You see her cast a very dark and angry look at once again a point about, a quarter to her right, that you cannot see, and then she just turns away from it entirely. She pauses for a second, looks over at Myra, and she says, "So I can just walk on the water to your ship."
Mm-hmm.
She looks at the pile of weapons that she left behind.
We'll get you those back when we get back.
Okay. She walks over to towards the water already, but she stops about 20 feet from it, turns around, and then heads back to you. And then she looks up at each of you, except for Bartek, who she looks in the eye. And sorry, but she looks around and still with wet eyes, her voice low, she says, "Thank you for saving me."
You're welcome. Don't worry about that. No need to thank us.
She looks at you, Tarnok especially, and she interrupts you. Or rather, I would say she gives you a look that just makes you realize, she's trying to get at something. And she almost whispers this to all of you. Whatever they promise you in the mist, don't believe it. It's not true. And then she turns around and she starts walking and steps onto the water, kind of tentatively at first. But then the moment she can, she starts just rushing towards the boat out on the water. There's no range limit, right, on the water walking?
No, it's just for an hour.
Okay.
The minute she starts sprinting, I'll just cast that send and spell to the captain.
I'll just drop water walking.
But wait, how far away is the ship from us if we stand on the beach?
As far as you can tell, it's about so the only way I can visualize it is in meters. I apologize for those of us that are behind the times, but it's about it stayed quite a ways away, so it's about 600 meters out.
Okay, that's a lot. Okay.
Yeah. You guys had quite a walk to get here.
Yeah, it's like 1,800 feet or so, right?
Yeah.
Well, less, but...
You were thinking of message.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, no. It's, no, because the one boat that's actually that close is the one that's precariously perched between a number of very dangerous rocks in the bay.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Which you still have no explanation for how or why it actually managed to get there. Physically, it doesn't seem possible that it would be there and still be afloat in the first place. But Svala becomes a distant figure on the water, heading towards your ship. And pretty soon she disappears behind the waves, and you just see the faint outcropping of the boat that is floating at anchor out there. And that's it.
And I turn to everyone and say, And she said, don't trust whatever they promise you in the mist. She came from the mist.
But
I look at him and that deadpan face, like completely serious. I just say, shoot her.
Okay, I will turn around to Jean-Jacques first. Actually, hold on just a moment. No, Barnack wouldn't shoot her now that she's unarmed, almost completely. Yeah, so
no, she is completely unarmed. She dropped everything by the end of it, didn't she?
No, she
She
still has the
dropped.
one-hand
no.
axe.
She has the
She
one
has
hand
the
axe.
one. Okay, okay.
Yeah.
I thought she dropped it.
Yeah. I'll shoot her if we come back and there's anything fishy. I'll shoot her before even asking.
I
Oh, I
was kidding,
didn't.
but I was hoping that you'd at least raise your bow so I could make a thing out of it, but you decided to be reasonable for once in your fucking life, and I walk away.
Okay, so I get, next to the path that we need to follow, and I turn to them and I say, where are we going?
Well, before we go, I'd love to at least do some
Certainty
testing.
in your voice, Jean-Jacques. Where are we going?
Well, we're going that way, and I point to the way that she said.
No,
'cause I think
Towards-
that's not true. We're going to the lady.
We are going to talk to the spirit
Okay.
lady.
I see.
And I turn to
That's-
Jean-Jacques
You
and
need
right
to
in the
focus
eyes
on
I
that,
say,
Alfredo.
I was smarter.
That is why you're the leader, Barnack.
Very true.
We
But
are
before
going.
we-
I'm just. Let me just finish this. I'm sorry. We are going towards the lady, and that lady is on that direction. Whatever happens, whatever shows up, don't deviate your mind from our goal, that is reaching the lady and then the tower. The lady is going to guide us to the tower, and that's it.
And whatever
Okay.
promises she offers, we won't accept.
Unless
It's a
she
lie.
promises to guide us to the tower. Although, because
No, not even that one. We said, Svala said not even that one. But I have something more important to do, so you guys talk.
Okay.
And I will walk a bit. Tell me, Kevin, is the mist here?
No, the mist, as far as like this area goes that you guys can see on the map, is pretty much beyond that.
Perfect. I will climb here.
Okay.
Mara, do you
Yes.
have any abilities or magics that ward off things in an area of any kind? Preferably dead or evil things. For context, Nicola's asking more like things, spiritual guardians or anything,
I do have
any
spiritual
aura like.
guardians.
And that's
But
10
it's-
minutes, right?
10 minutes.
Okay.
I do.
And I turn to Jean-Jacques and I say, I understand your train of thought, but we are actually not trying to avoid an encounter. We're actually going for it. So,
I agree, but I don't know if it's. Like Svala didn't necessarily make it clear that it is absolutely necessary to be within the mist in order to find the lady. Because I don't know if it's necessarily linked. The mist as it is and the other denizens of this place. They could be two separate entities entirely. So I was hoping that if we have a way to at least slow down the effects of the mist, we can increase our likelihoods of making it out at the other end without being, well, crazy.
what I believe is that the mist, once we get through it with the right minds, we're not going to go through the mist, but the mist is gonna go around us as we go.
I sure hope so. But Swala was in the mist, even though she knew how to navigate it to an extent, so. I'm just trying to be at least a little bit cautious, but
Mm-hmm.
let us see. what happens.
So
I just don't know that we have. Yeah.
I
Go
was
ahead.
just gonna
Sean.
ask, what are you guys actually gonna do now? Was the
I think
answer?
I think probably Chansey doesn't have anything that I'm having in mind because all of those things are probably higher level that would
Well,
potentially help.
I have 2 options, possibly. Speaking of hope, which would give us advantage on wisdom saving throws. Death saves, if we regain hit points, we regain maximum hit points for
That's
that.
10 minutes as well, right?
Yes. Or of purity, which will make us immune to disease, resistance to poison, and have advantage on effects that cause blinded, charmed, deafened, frightened, paralyzed, poisoned, and stunned.
Yeah. Is that 10
That
minutes
might
as
help.
well?
And then there's also 10 minutes.
Well,
So
let's keep that in the back pocket, I guess, for if something goes south.
I stand next to the path entrance or whatever, closer to the mist.
Okay.
And I just say, Barnack, imagine yourself after a long day of work heading to the bar. How grandiose you look, how pompous you look. And that's the kind of attitude that I want from you whenever you're stepping into that mist. I don't want combat postures. I don't want you guys looking around looking for trouble. Let's do our best to comply to the instructions that Svala gave us. So
I will stand up on the ledge and looking you deadpan in the eye, I will say, "Please address me as you should while I'm on my throne."
yes, Commodore Barnack.
No.
Yes, nailed it.
Go the Ledge King.
Yes. Thank you,
Purple.
Tani. Thank you, Tani. And I will sit on the ledge and do again the thing to see if there's anything around us.
Okay.
Especially thinking now if there's anything like in the direction of the ship as well.
Okay. Can you post it in the chat again for me?
Yes.
Just so I know the creature types that we're looking for.
Yes. Hold on. Character sheet.
Just whisper to Tani, if someone pushed him off his ledge, would they become the new Ledge King?
I'll cover my mouth, trying not to laugh.
Okay. Expend one ranger's spell slot to focus
Yes.
your awareness.
Yeah.
For 1 minute, you can sense whether the following types of creatures are present within 1 mile of you.
Or
up to
6,
6
and
miles.
we are in
Okay.
in coastline things.
So, aberrations, celestials, dragons, elementals, fae, fiends, and undead. Everything around you, everything is overwhelmed with a sense of undead. Everything.
Right.
And I don't mean what you felt in the past, a distant speck, such as when you felt the dragon. It was a presence off somewhere on the edge of your perception. No, it's like you're immersed in an ocean, and where everything is water, everything to you right now is undead. It takes you a moment to take in that overwhelming sensation before you're able to focus on anything else. But you do feel very distantly, both at the edge of your perception and somehow beyond it, as if distance doesn't work the right way on this island. You feel aberration. Not an aberration. Not many. Just the nature of something deep and powerful.
Okay.
You feel a bare end. It's aberrant. That's okay.
That's the end of the stream. Bye everyone. It was fun.
Okay. I will jump down from the ledge and say, I was kidding, Tarnok, but I feel undead around us. Everywhere around us. In the mist, in the water, in the ground. It's like everything around us is undead. And
Barnett.
there's also this feeling of
Oh, I apologize. I should have also pointed out that you did feel a distant, faint presence of elemental.
okay. I also feel it's a very strange feeling. I don't think I know how to explain it, but there's aberration type something. And it might be close and it might be far, but it's like it's here and not here. I don't know how to explain it. Oh,
So
and
it's
there's
more
also
of an aberration energy or
yes,
presence or
perhaps
something.
that. Yeah, perhaps that. And there's also an elemental. I forgot to an elemental type of thing. I forgot to mention.
Yeah, that's the least of our worries.
In Orin, I say very nice.
I just turn to Boronek and I say, whatever the issue here, and this is becoming more clear as time passes, it's something with the island. It's either something that we need to shut down, or it's something that we be unable to avoid in any way, shape, or form, or to disturb. So we need to focus on our mission, probably more than how to end this evil or whatever.
Yeah, that leads into my second question. Again, are we going slowly and steadily and stealthily?
Stealthily,
Have you seen me?
I can help with that. That's what I mean.
I think
I
there's
think-
not much point in stealth, to be honest. If we're gonna try and hide from anything, it would be the mist, and somehow I feel that doesn't need to see us as much as just envelop us. So
Yeah. Well then, let's go on, and I will not shoot at the first thing I see. I promise.
I just have one thing. While the Ledge King was using his ancient dwarven magic to, bring us all clairvoyance, I out of my pack pull out my light crossbow. And I will, check the string and, go through the motions that I haven't gone through in many, many an age.
So,
And I will put a crossbow bolt in it.
It's probably like you check it and the string immediately snaps, but you have a backup, so you put the backup string into it that you kept dry and well packaged. And you check your crossbow bolts, and there's like 2 of them that have just kind of degraded over time because you didn't keep them with the rest properly packaged, but the rest are fine. So you load a crossbow bolt into it, and you have a prepared light crossbow.
As I'm doing that, I'm cursing in Sylvan, just like an incessant string of the most foul curse words that I knew, which are probably like the Shakespearean equivalent of cursing. And I also think to myself, what is the exact time of day? Because I know that now. And I compare that to what I think it should be.
Because you know the exact time of day outside of the island, as in what it is in Postizia. It does not match with where you are now. Okay. The sun is not in the right position in the sky. In fact, it seems to be heading east.
Keep that piece of trivia for myself for now.
This place, man.
I'm just not mentioning that to anybody before we delve into this.
Okay, well, I have one more little tidbit for you. As you are considering this and cursing in Sylvan, this beautiful string of words that those of you who know Elvish but not Sylvan, it sounds like Old English, like really Old English, which you don't understand, but you can kind of see where the similarities are to the language. And as you're cursing, the rest of you looking over to Jean-Jacques at any point during this, see that it's almost like a corridor of mist has snuck up behind him, formed into a shape that resembles him, and is currently mimicking exactly what he's doing. About 10 feet behind him.
He looks for Sarah to see if Myra's staring at him, like the secret Tick tick
Not the
signal.
seeker stare, like, but just the fuck.
Okay.
No, I was actually heading towards him. The interactions were pretty long, but I was preparing to hand him Argyle's rapier so he could use it because I
Okay.
saw his
So-
motions and stuff.
Yeah.
So I was going towards him, you know, and I'm guessing that he's not seeing that.
No, he doesn't know. It's because, you're busy. There was no
Uh-huh.
mist nearby. And you probably didn't immediately notice it because you were like grabbing the rapier and you were checking that it was okay and you were going to hand it over. And then probably as you're about to, you look at him, you look past him, and you just see this figure completely built out of mist. There's no features that you can vaguely see the outline of the clothes. And it's just kind of mimicking. And I would say Turnok, you, and probably after a moment or so the rest hear it as well, and Jean-Jacques hears it too. The curses are being echoed, but very distantly, like someone whispering in a cathedral from a different corner. It's just this little... But they're exactly the same words.
Yeah. And I'm guessing that I see that before I actually, Jean-Jacques is still going through that ritual. And I literally cover his mouth with my hands.
Okay.
I say, keep that goddamn language away from here. And I turn his head, like this, towards the thing.
Okay.
And,
The thing turns its head as well, and you see the outline of a hand over the mouth, but it dissipates. And then the figure turns the head back towards you, as if becoming aware of you. And it just briefly stops. The arms go to the sides, and it almost physically looks like it makes a shrug before collapsing into mist, and the mist just dissipates until that corridor that it was connected to is no longer there.
As I take one hand out of Jean-Jacques' mouth, the other hand's the rapier.
He just takes it. Doesn't say anything. Just shakes it on his...
Do you think future people coming to this isle will find an elf, like, saying all these elven things, and will get spooked?
Right.
Maybe you're gonna be a copy. You're gonna have a ghost copy forever in this island. That's kind of cool.
Just what I wanted my entire life.
I hear sarcasm in that, but I truly believe that you want a copy of yourself.
He just looks at Myra, just does a, nod.
Bruno the player is literally shaking, and I'm going to transfer that to fucking Turner because I don't care. And I say, I just turn to everybody, where are we going? And as I do, I start heading towards the path because we need to get out of here.
Arnok, I do have a request from you, or rather of you. I need to request something. You will be going first. You will take the helm. Please constantly chant that we are going to the lady. You don't have to chant it loud. Just, it's easier.
Yeah, I'll keep it like tip of my tongue, just maybe find a little bit of rhythm or melody to that, just keep.
Yeah,
just
when
humming.
you say it, when you say it, we can all repeat it at the same time.
Yeah, I can just go, where are we going? And
up to the lady we go today, keep the mist far away.
There it is. That works.
Yeah, I can do that. I can definitely do it.
Okay, so with those words in your mind, you set out into the forest. Is that correct? Or into the forest, into the island, which is mostly covered in these dead trees, as far as you can tell.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
As you begin to walk the path deeper into the island, you experience, all of you, in fact, a strange sensation as the sky turns to a twilight color and then slowly to darkness. And you walk 20 minutes, 40 minutes, and then slowly, in the west, the sun begins to rise again. And while you're walking, keeping your mind fixed on this destination. The sun moves and it feels natural, but those of you, each of you has an individual moment where the flow of time and the way things are progressing right now strikes you as decidedly wrong. Things are definitely moving in a way that you're not used to, and you feel as though you've both walked for entire days, and then that sensation fades in favor of, hey, we've only been going for like 40 minutes. Why is the sun going down and rising again just through that time? Maybe you talk about this, maybe you remain silent otherwise, but your paths take you across several hills and dales. More trees become prevalent, and also a rather thick undergrowth, and the trees stop being dead as much. In fact, it seems that the further away you get from the coast, the more alive the island is. There are thick canopies of various tree species that none of you recognize. There is thick undergrowth and the scurrying of small animals that hide away as you approach, but you see several that seem familiar and that almost seem normal to be here. You see a large hare, a group of rabbits, a small ferret. You even see a few birds in the trees that quickly fly up and away as you pass under them.
Just a brief comment. Every time that there's, something, grabs my attention, something outside of the destination per se, I hum the song once again, every time that I... Yeah.
All right. In that case, I would like each of you to make a concentration check, as if you were concentrating on a spell.
Concentration.
And if you roll under a 15 or lower rather, please whisper to me on Discord what it is that might have distracted you.
I'm gonna use my inspiration.
I'm sorry, Kevin, but
It's a
how
Constitution
do I
saving throw.
roll?
Okay.
A
A concentration check is just a Constitution saving throw. Apologies.
Yeah.
Okay. Constitution saving throw. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow, I'm gonna use inspiration as well. I don't want to.
Yeah,
get
me
this
too. I'm gonna use my last one.
because mine is a 4 right now.
People told me, you're crazy letting everyone have up to 3 points of inspiration, but you just give one fun little sequence and it's all gone.
Yes.
Okay.
18.
All right. So an 18 for Turnock. Barnack, what's yours?
19. No inspiration used.
All right. Jean-Jacques.
25.
Wait.
Myra.
14.
Did I roll 4s twice?
And Tani appears to have rolled 2
You
4s.
did.
Okay, that's a 4. I'll take it.
So Tani, if you could please write to me on Discord what might have been the most likely distraction on Tani's mind as you guys passed through the forest. In the meantime, of course this is an ongoing travel. So in the meantime, you guys do pass through various glades. You find a beautiful waterfall, actually, about 20 meters high, of just water clashing into a small river that passes you by. It's absolutely gorgeous. And a little later, much later, it's starting to become harder to keep track of time, even for Jean-Jacques, who is the most accurate in this matter regardless, and especially lately. But it's becoming harder to keep track of time. The only thing that you can judge is that the sun passing in the wrong direction is about or is further to the west, to the east than it is to the west. So you gather that by normal standards it would be somewhere past midday.
Evan?
Yes.
I rolled a 14. I thought you said we had to roll higher than a 15.
Oh, sorry. I thought you said I heard you wrong. I definitely heard you wrong. Okay, so then you
I
also
am
please
writing
write
the
to me.
message. Yeah.
Okay. So as you are writing those messages, you guys pass along the path, and there's a brief stretch essentially where you come to the bottom of one of the hills, and there is a sort of intersection where the paths split into two different directions. Kind of as if it had landed from after falling from the sky, you see that there is an object in the middle of this intersection. Something square that's half buried in the ground, really having made a heavy impact there. But it seems to be a square front and it glints in the sunlight. And you think that the entire front part of it is solid gold, as far as you can tell. You're still a distance away, so you can choose how to approach this entire situation as you wish. But you notice this object. It seems to be about the size of like one of those smaller old school TVs, and then like a tiny bit larger than that. But it seems to be a square something made of gold.
Like a safe, small safe.
You could describe it as such, yes.
Okay.
Is it off the path?
It is in the middle of the path, right at the intersection where the paths split into two different directions. How would you like to proceed?
So, as I see that thing getting closer, I chant it once again. But then afterwards, as if I were to sing it once again, to give it rhythm, I just say, "Could the lady be here? Perhaps the lady is here. We should check if the lady is here, because if the lady is here, this is actually our path." And I grab that sense of that idea that we're not straying away from the path if what we're doing is actually leading us towards our goal. So even if we are diverging, mentally speaking, we are still, So yeah, and I try to get into that idea into everybody's heads.
Okay.
As I get closer. Oh, is the lady here? Is the inside this little thing?
Okay.
Are you lady there? Something.
All right. So you, Turnok, keeping this in mind, approach the object, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Anyone else doing anything other than approach? Just checking. If not, then we'll continue.
Do we have a sense of, like, thinking of, I need to find the lady, repeating, and also repeating our mantra? Is it leading us to this gold object, or is it like pulling us in a different direction, or can we even sense something like that?
Make an insight check.
Okay. So the disadvantage, so to keep your expectations low.
I always do.
17.
Oh my. Okay.
Nice.
Good roll. Nice.
You evaluate very carefully as Turnok approaches, and you get the impression that while you were walking, all of you entered a sort of trance-like state. All of you were aware, but it was like walking through a dream. And now that you think back, there are stretches of the journey that are not clear in your mind. You know the path that you walked, and yet it's not something that you could clearly recall as you stood here right now. That fog has, at least for the moment, lifted. And in fact, one thing that you do realize, especially with that 17, is you become more aware again of your surroundings. It's almost as if the world solidifies around you, and you realize that despite walking much deeper into the island, you have not passed through the white mist even once. It has been a distant thing that's hovering between the trees, but while you've been focused on this destination, it has never been in the direction that you were walking. It's always been off to the side or behind you, but never ahead of you. Okay. Turnok, so are you inspecting this item up close?
Yeah. And at this point, whispering to myself, not to get that annoying or sound that childish, just would the lady be here? Just keeping that in mind at all points. I don't want to be distracted,
Okay.
but I am inspecting it. Yes.
All right. So Tornok, you lean forward to inspect it, and indeed, Milosh's assessment actually was quite correct. It looks like a safe of some kind. It is a block of some kind of material, you're not sure, that looks very solid, and it has a slightly larger front plate made of gold, where there's a mechanism built in that it doesn't seem to be some kind of clear lock as you understand it, but some kind of mechanism for opening it, presumably. And you see on the front is an engraving. It is in... Do you know Sylvan? The language that Jean-Jacques was using? Okay, so the letters are not entirely... Like, they resemble the common tongue letters, but not familiar to you as such. And they are arranged in a grid 5 by 5 on the front, and underneath that is a line of these letters, seemingly randomly arranged. Then underneath that you see several patterns. Now I have a handout for you guys. It's not in gold because I wanted it to be actually readable, but I will show you this. Here we go. And let me just transition you guys over so that everyone can see it. That is what you find on the front. Now, with Jean-Jacques' help, you can easily make sense of the letters themselves and how they are arranged. But beyond that,
I sit right in front of it. I cross my legs and I say out loud, almost to the environment, or to basically I'm talking to the mist, And I say, well, I'm pretty sure this will lead to the lady. And I literally sit in front of it, legs crossed, and I start analyzing it.
Okay. So actually, it seems that I made a tiny mistake. The one on the right should be upside down. So I'm just going to fix that real quick, but just for your...
Oh, so orange on top.
Yes, orange on top,
Uh-huh.
green, etc. But yeah, let me fix that for you guys so you can actually see it correctly. Sorry, this was a little bit of my inspiration at the end.
It's fine.
Right before we started.
Yeah, but I don't think you got the memo. I need like preschool puzzles.
It's up to you guys.
Well, I don't speak Sylvan, so
Well,
I
like I said,
but
with Jean-Jacques'
Jean-Jacques-
help, you can definitely translate it to the common tongue and then be able to work on it as well, if you wish. As far as you can tell, I will say, aside from reading intent and understanding that you need a certain intent to find the lady, you see no indications that you have to do anything with this to find her. That is a speculation that you can make, and it may help. But as far as you can tell, this is in no way likely to help you along your path unless there's something inside that's going to make life a lot easier. So as you guys are leaning over this, the first thing that you notice, all of you, as you look around at each other and you gather around at essentially what is a safe, several of you, as you look at each other, have got weird facial features all of a sudden. Anyone who looks at Barnack, rather than seeing lovely, charming Barnack, there's a snake's head in its place instead.
no.
Okay. Looking at Myra, her head has been replaced by a fox. And looking at Jean-Jacques, he looks quite like a ferret.
I don't let. I do my best if I need to roll for that fine, but I won't let that. I won't let that take my attention away.
Okay.
I'm just going to say something along the line of, "Hey, you guys are looking different," and
Okay. As he says this, and allow me to briefly grab something here. As Turnock says this, you do not see a dragonborn. You also do not see an animal, but rather you see a half elf, an unfamiliar half elf, standing there. If I'm correct.
sitting there.
Just checking with Chansey for a tiny detail on Discord.
How does this mechanism work? I like. Can I see? It is a mechanism and it has those things, but can I move things around? Can I play around with the words or with the signs?
No, it is completely engraved, so there's no moving parts to the mechanism or to the plate itself, outside of what seems to be just a physical door that could be opened.
Yes.
Give me a second. I have to open up my notes.
So, yeah. I'm just gonna make that a bit bigger on the stream, but
I need 7 zip for this puzzle.
I will say
it's in rare, so I need to unzip it.
I will say, you guys, if you wish, because we are getting close to the end of our session. I'm not saying we have to yet, but at 9 we're going to call it. If you wish, you are free to theorize and puzzle this out outside of the sessions as well. So during the next week, feel free to go over it. Google, ask me questions. We can do skill checks outside of the session. We can take some time for you to focus on this if you wish.
Yeah, I do. If we may.
That's fine. Okay. Just gonna upload the correct file real quick here. There we go.
Okay.
Okay, so just to add one more detail, probably you guys are focused on the puzzle, but if at any point you look at Tani, you see a human, also unfamiliar, but perhaps Chansey, just for the players, you could describe what Turnock and Tani look like at the moment.
So Turnock looks like a half elf, olive skin, brown eyes, pretty thin, especially for what should be a dragonborn, and slightly shorter at 5'7".
Likely.
And, yeah, I actually don't know how tall Turnock is, so
6'6".
like a foot shorter. Okay.
Yeah.
And Tani, human, kind of a medium brown skin, dark brown hair, and hazel eyes. Muscular, so maybe, like, I don't know how Tani's built, has a half orc, but, probably the same kind of build, but 5'6", so probably shorter as well.
Yeah, it is, it's quite unsettling, because everything about their movements and their voice is still them. They just physically look like different people. And the rest of you continue to have animal heads.
Okay.
I'll hate this fucking place.
Is there anything to, like, lean on, like a tree?
Oh yeah, there are trees.
My find the furthest tree away from Tani and Turnock and sit and just stare at them.
Okay. So Myra kind of moves off the path a little bit, and it is quite a narrow path, so it's not like you have to go far, just a couple of paces, but you sit down beside the road and stare at the two of them. Any of you with animal heads, if you feel, it also physically feels like you are this animal. It's just you somehow retain the ability to speak normally.
And I'm a snake.
Yes.
You have a snake head, I'm guessing, right?
Yes,
Is
snake
that
head.
it?
Yep.
Looking at the safe, Kevin.
Mm-hmm.
Other than the actual letters and stuff, there are no other like words inscribed on it or anything of that nature.
Nope, nothing at all.
And is there any sign of any tampering? So any like traction marks or any
No, in fact,
wear and tear?
the front of it is completely immaculate. The back does look like it was ripped from a stone wall. So there are parts of stone still clinging to the back of it where it impacted. But it seems that the safe itself is so solidly made, presumably magically made as well, that it was unaffected by the impact, but it definitely was either magically or through great physical force ripped from where it was and dumped here in some fashion.
Okay. I also can't open the image again, by the way. I don't know if you've re-uploaded it or not.
I did.
But
Let me. It should. Try. Did you close the whole handout?
yes,
I
think
Can you try opening it again?
It works. Yeah, it works for me.
it's a work for me, so I'll just reload.
All right. Yeah, because it should work.
It's opening random handouts when I click it, so.
I'll ask
yeah.
JJ, does Sylvan have the same number of letters as common?
Does it?
Yes. It is essentially simply the precursor alphabet. It's like when you learn some about Greek compared to the Roman alphabet, right? It's quite similar. It's just
Glagolica, Milosze. Glagolica.
Yeah. I'll then say there are 2 letters missing in the first part. I don't know if that has anything to do with it, but there are 2 letters missing. There's an I missing and a J missing. And there are 2 T's.
3.
3 maybe. There.
2
No.
P's, 2 R's.
No, just in the first part.
Oh, in the grid, you mean?
Yeah, in the grid.
fuck.
Did you make a mistake, Kevin?
And the second T is an I. I just typed that.
Okay, wait. Okay, so the second T is an I, but there's still a J missing.
Yes, that is correct.
I need to put this on paper so I can, just fuck around with it.
Yeah, that's what it's there for. I thought it would be fun, because I just learned this new thing, and I was like, okay.
Not taking a picture of it on my phone so I can puzzle this out later.
Unlike JJ, my intelligence is 8, so.
Higher than mine.
Unlike Barnack, I actually like solving puzzles, so this will keep me up.
I thought maybe if we moved the 2 lines, like if you move them row by row, you could match the colors to get something, but the 4 dots one is confusing the hell out of me.
Yeah.
The 4, there's 5 rows, and I think that the 4 dots, it's like one of the 2 characters, at least the 2 green ones and the 2 white ones, they represent 2 characters in the 3rd and 4th row. But that's just, I don't know where yet they are located, but I'm going to soon. Let me know what T is the wrong one, Kevin.
The second one.
Okay.
So if we move the lines, it would be F and D that will matter here. Be N and P.
But we can't move anything, right? That's what you said. Everything
No,
is in
physically
gray.
you can't move anything on the thing.
Yeah.
I will say Tani, Jean-Jacques, and Tarnok make an intelligence check.
This would be with a disadvantage, so I will secretly kind of turning away from the group as if in thought, just because I don't know if there's any visual to this. I will trigger the ability of my timepiece to give me
Natural
advantage.
Okay.
So
Natural
I roll
20.
with one.
Yeah. Okay, so the timepiece, natural 20,
12.
and a 12. Okay, so Tani, maybe you're a bit more distracted by the strange faces that are being presented to you. But regardless, you
16.
okay. But regardless, you
The second, I'm sorry, the second T is an I.
yes. In fact, if you reload it, I fixed it. It's just yeah.
Yeah, it's
Sorry.
fixed.
In any case, Jean-Jacques and Turnock, and I will say Tani contributes to this as well, because regardless of how much you remember directly, there was a certain educational aspect to your youth that definitely helped shape thinking around topics like this. But between the three of you, you figure out that the message, or rather the letters in a row, are the message. The grid above is the means of decoding that message. And the drawings below are somehow an additional instruction for decoding the message. I will say, this is a legitimate code technique, so if during the week you feel adventurous and you can find the technique, you can probably resolve it. Because it's hard. Don't question that. It is hard to figure out.
So the grid is the
No, the line is the message,
Oh,
and the grid
message, yeah.
is the way to unlock it.
yeah.
And with a natural 20, Turnock, one thing you realize is that the first line plus the first letters of the second line seem to be the word forgotten, with only unique letters displayed.
Yeah, it's forgotten. Okay. With only unique letters. Okay. I mean,
I think I recognize it. At least when you said forgotten. I read a book where a girl was a fan of coding things like this. But I don't remember. But I slightly remember. Like Kira myself. Fascinating.
Cool.
I even have a gridded paper that I'm
Nice.
using to.
Yeah, let's go.
Yeah.
This is honestly, to me, one of the coolest things I ever made. So I'm very excited to see what you guys make of it. But
And when we unlock it, there's an ancient dragon waiting for us inside.
yes, and it insta-kills the whole party.
No, only the one that unlocks it. Because Barnack will never unlock this, so just only the one that unlocks it.
Or everyone except the one that unlocks it. But regardless, as you all are gathered around, trying to make sense of this strange pattern on this discarded safe door, Myra sitting off to the side. The mist begins to creep closer. And as you wait and puzzle, it takes about 10-15 minutes, roughly, it's hard to estimate here, before you are encircled. You have about 40 feet in each direction, but that's it. The mist is entirely around you, and each of you begins to see the shapes of figures moving, not paying attention to you like the last one did, but just emerging, walking, sitting, talking with each other, seemingly, before disappearing into nothingness again. And as they do so, several of these figures begin to walk out of the mist for brief moments in time. As if they noticed you, they start walking toward you, but then collapse into nothingness. But the most observant among you, those who can tear their attention away from the puzzle, begin to see that they get a little further each time. A tiny step further, a few centimeters closer. The mist is all around you, and is definitely trying to get closer to you still.
Okay. That's great.
Alright. I would say let's call it there. And we'll pick it up next week and see, A, if you have any solutions for the puzzle, and B, what you want to do about the mist and your travel onwards.
Okay.
Oh boy.
You guys doing good?
No.
No.
Why not?
Oh boy.
Isn't it a fun island?
It's creepy.
No, it's not a fun island.
This
It's
shit's creepy as
mean.
fuck.
Next up, you're going to meet the entire cast of Lost. And then it's going to get really weird.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, man.
There's a counter somewhere.
Yeah, probably. Nah, but yeah, it's a good moment to end it on. And I think also time-wise, it suits us perfectly, because I think, Milos, you have to go and be a responsible adult, which is just preposterous to me, but I appreciate it.
Yeah, I
nonetheless.
have to. Yeah, sorry.
No, but very glad that you were able to be here, man. And yeah, let's pick it up next week and see where you go from there.
Okay,
Cool.
perfect.
All right. Nicola, let's
I
do
did
that thing
write-
that we talked about next
Yeah.
week. Yeah, I think
Yeah.
that's probably better when everyone can be here. And
Yeah,
I don't
it's-
start the session late.
Yeah.
All right. In that
I agree.
case, everyone, thank you so much for watching. Simon, as always, thank you for all the support. And to everyone else who checked in or stuck with us, remember to follow, subscribe, do all the cool stuff. We're also releasing episodes on YouTube. The next one is going to go live tomorrow. So if you're into catching up to everything we've done before, the first episodes of our stream are now being uploaded on YouTube. So share those with your friends or watch them. And subscribe to YouTube, of course. Anyway, we'll see you next time, and have a good one. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.